Dawaj.
He can't swing himself round. It's one of the World Rugby laws that is coming in to stop cynical play of Branch hunting down Moody. Player falling. Moody looks so composed, so classy. Ball is out. How did Reinach get that one away? Massive left shoulder arise from Andrew Porter. Use it. It's a real sense of chaos and mayhem in the
Jak trzeba?
at the moment. Tooth and nail stuff from both sides. As the most capped Springbok ever, Eben Esteban. Use it. Just nosedives. And Reinach he's not clubbed right again. No.
No niedobrze chyba. Słabo jest, bo
bringing it down. Easy viewpoint for the referee to see the penalty. Day of execution for Ireland. And Ireland opts to put Bundy on the blind side. There'll be a man down in the back line as the darting eyes of Cobus Reinach surveys the scene. I think it's sort of probably a bit of a spotlight on that sort of Irish squad on the Irish bench.
Do not lean across.
Barrett is a great option to go in there with second row and maybe the last quarter of the game. But it's kind of one of those where you need a big scrummaging lot behind Hank Furlong and Andrew Porter at the minute. Andrew Porter is going to have to keep his right side really, really square. The referee is going to be going after him. Yeah, I don't imagine the ball being played to these three, but maybe. Look at it. Well, on penalty advantage, watch the three of these flooding the line. Because if you do see an arm stretched out from the referee, South Africa are excellent at playing that penalty advantage. They will go to one of those three, charging the...
Two players injured. Stop. He's not for me. He's squared. You are the first person to take a step to the left, and then that's what's causing you to come out. Okay, you must stay in front of him.
And could more punishment be meted out for an Irishman here?
Time.
It's like a horrific collision, first and foremost. I hope both players are going to be okay, particularly Tommy O'Brien. He is a little bit high. He doesn't have that hinge of his hips that referees are looking for.
Okay, so we have a TMO check.
Where is the impact? Where is the collision? There's some cheers from the crowd here, thinking that Moody might be to blame. He's not.
14.
Is he maybe wrong-footed by the fact that it almost goes to Dialende in there? Oh, the reality is there's head contact there. How severe it is, again, is up to the referee and TMO, but you could easily find another bunker situation. He's hit him in the jaw. He has. Yeah, and I think Drickle, just because he loses the collision, doesn't take away from that fact.
So we're considering penalty only, so we're between penalty and yellow card at the moment. He's really passive. And some of the forces to the chest. Okay, so we have an agreement between us. So we have a decision. Jacko, we're going to go for a penalty only. We believe the player is extremely passive, and although he makes head contact, both players are dipping into the action as well.
Yeah, fine with that.
Okay, so it's going to be a penalty. You've got a choice of a penalty here or a penalty over here.
South Africa escaped early on. Ireland might
It's on the 15 or
feel
on the
that
5.
they're a bit fortunate there. I've certainly seen those ones, even though it is a more passive collision. That upright nature does often merit a yellow card when there is a head contact, which there clearly was.
I've already spoken
Yeah,
to
I think the thing that saved Tommy O'Brien was that Matthew Carley started at a yellow and then was looking for mitigation to come down rather than starting at the high level. But yeah, look, I totally agree with you.
Prove, okay? Stay up.
But
stay
yet again,
square.
another scrum. Ireland
Wait
of
on the line.
dropping to 13. So getting that little more audible with every scrum that the eights embrace. Joey, this is just from an Irish point of view that they've got to understand the ground is their friend.
14, you're going
They've
to go
got to get low. They've got to think about their chest getting towards the ground, because South Africa, like we said earlier, they're trying to lift them, and that's allowing Thomas Dutoy to get through. So Ireland have got to be thinking, you go down. If you're Dan Sheehan in the middle of that scrum, you're thinking, worst case scenario, we take it to ground. Tommy O'Brien is going to head off for an HIA. Looks like he's got the same nose guy as Harry Potter from the week before as well. And, well, I'd say there's a few monstermen in the crowd because Jack Crowley is getting some reception. It's a real reshuffle for Ireland here. And, well, Jamison Gibson-Park deputised at fullback last week. He looked pretty good at 10. And it's going to be a real conundrum as to how Ireland position their players.
It's interesting that they've opted for Crowley instead of Tom Farrell. Obviously, there's no like-for-like replacement really there. You have to have that little shuffle around. Matt going out onto the wing. Crowley at fullback where he's well accustomed to playing.
Firstly received here in the Aviva.
Yes, Joe, and just even the opportunity for Tag Furlong to question Matthew Carney to put a little bit of doubt in his head and the assistant referee's head. Looks baboos, but scrum time tag anyway.
South Africa dominating possession this last 10 minutes. Setting up camp in the Irish 22. They've held firm to this point. But this Quilter Nations crucible heats up a few more degrees as the front rows lock horns. South Africa have yet more penalty advantage. Giolende this time does get his carry, and Ringrose has to work in unison with Prendergast. More indiscretions, more big men running at Irish defenders. Eben Esteves, the only man who knows how it feels to win a match in Dublin for South Africa. Peter Steptoe. Ireland infringing with abandon. Cobus! Razor edge, Reinach slices through the Irish defence like a scalpel.
Will be worse for Ireland as well. Matthew Carney looks as though he's reaching into his pocket again
in the same sequence, offside.
for another yellow card. Double bad news for Ireland. It's Sam Prendergast. Certainly don't want to lose your playmaker. You don't want to lose anyone, but neither your halfbacks are the ones you want to go to the bin. But Reinach, really well taken score. Jeez, it's been coming. It really has. Ireland have done well to limit it to 5 points. And now, with an extra man gone, they're going to be properly up against it for the remainder of this half at least.
Yeah, Dirk, I think he got Sam Prendergast didn't roll away from a couple of rucks previous. He's offside there. It just shows you there's a lesson in that where a lot of times teams get penalty advantage and they try something miracle. But actually, if you can accumulate or cause the opposition to accumulate penalties, then it puts a bit of pressure on the referee to go to further sanction of that yellow card.
Arasi said this week it'll take a colossal effort to beat Ireland in Dublin. It's something he's never achieved as a coach.
That's great.
Only as a player. But it is now Ireland who must find an inner strength. Down to 13, trailing by a dozen on the scoreboard. And 5 minutes and a bit of change to survive of Quilter Nation Series Rugby. Moody hits Hansen's pocket in the skies, and South Africa are rocking and rolling, and they're queuing up out wide. Creel, Peter Steptoe gets clattered by Archie, and a bit of chaos ensues on the deck, and Van der Fleer drops on the grenade. Cynical. Shades of Cody Taylor last week, but I think it'll just be the penalty against South Africa. Welcome respite, though, for the Irish.
Yeah, well, James Lowe was thinking about taking a quick tap. He thought again about it. Just a great opportunity for Ireland. Really good scramble defence to get themselves back in the point. And a half-decent kick to the corner to boot.
The loneliest seat in the Aviva belongs to Sam Prendergast. Just under 8 minutes to go, and James Ryan in the background, the spectre of the second row, and his deeds. It's time to be served, but he won't return. Ian Prendergast and Jack Conan, the options to replace him in a few minutes' time. What a claim from Ryan Baird. Ireland need to rally. They need their big men. They need guys like Josh van der Fleer. A barnstorming break from the back row. Anarchy like a rocket. Almost as Sheehan. Contest.
It's funny, before that, you felt like, regardless of scoring, Ireland needed to just stay in this South African 22 for the next 3-4 minutes. It was a brilliant take by Ryan Baird. Break off by Josh van der Fleer, and then it's just about speed of breakdown, which they haven't had in the South African 22 yet. But then, and then Gibson Park, just smart options. Dan Sheehan, who has been very, very heavily involved in the loose in this first half so far, finishing really, really well. But this is exactly what Ireland needed.
It's just intent, wasn't it? That's all it was. Hard ball carrying, running at the line. Being unwilling to be knocked back, as we see Jack Crowley knocking over the additional 2 points. Excellent from Ireland, not feeling sorry for themselves, being down a couple of numbers, but just simplifying their game with really, really aggressive ball carrying. One from Van der Fleer, second one from Aki, and then the final one for Sheehan to get over the whitewash. Excellent.
And just on that second line from Van der Fleer, if you're watching that replay, Visa just hesitates, which gives Dan Sheehan that soft shoulder to score.
Ireland have done something special in sealing that 7-pointer. 1 minute and 40 seconds to navigate now until it's off to the halftime huddles.
Use it.
By the way, Dan Sheehan sitting next to Louis Pierre as the man who's scored the most tries this year. Remarkable company to keep. But this half is not done, and Malcolm Marks and these Springboks will be desperate to reinstate the 12-point lead they held moments ago. Dialende, always a man for unglamorous meters, and bumbled forward uncharacteristically by Reinach. And if Ireland can survive the scrum, they'll survive the half.
Yeah, the good thing with the scrum and Ireland ball is they can do that quick feed and get the ball out. I don't think Keelan Doris, well, certainly the front row won't be thanking him if he hangs around at the back of that.
Okay, put it on the screen. Leave the field.
There may be trouble ahead, and there is another yellow
Field
card.
dispute, that is the cynical action, number 22.
You said it, Joe. You said it, Joe. It was the exact same as last week with England, New Zealand. Cynical play in a ruck.
There is a zero tolerance to cynical play, and in this November, it has been a first 40 minutes of autumnal coloured cards for Ireland. 2 yellows, an orange, and big brother Cian bounding on to try and bail out younger brother Sam, who's still watching on from the sidelines. Ireland are down. Well, no, they're back to 13. They were almost down to 12.
But interesting, South Africa going to the corner instead of pushing that lead out beyond the score. They really want to back themselves. A lot of pressure on the Irish forwards now, Joe.
South Africa with the bit between their teeth. Crunching through the gears. Tyburns made a nuisance of himself, but he's done so nefariously. How long will Matthew Carley's patience hold?
You could hear the referee saying try bench. It seemed like the only one that wasn't listening to it. The responsibility is with his teammates to make sure they drag him out of there if he can't hear it.
Sorry, it's further out here,
Oh,
guys.
I was going to say, initially Matthew Carley was standing on the 5-metre line, and there was probably only one thing South Africa were doing there. But yet again, they're pushing it.
Here's the mark.
That illegal act has allowed them to get closer to the Irish line again. You imagine they'll go to the corner and they'll try to maul them
One and
over.
three
Well, they
green
should go to a
replacement.
scrum. Got to go to a scrum here because Ireland now have 2 backs missing.
And here we go. A couple of sticks of early dynamite tossed onto the field from
If I
Rassi
didn't have Bruno
Boardventer
in this scrum, I won't have any
and Thomas
options.
du Toit make way
Three
for Gerhard Steenenkamp
scrums in a row.
and Wilco Low, who weighs 144 kilos.
And there's future threats of
In the stand.
someone going in the bin again. He said there's been 3 scrums in a row.
Not left.
Keep it up. It's the last thing Ireland needs. But this is such an unbelievable attacking opportunity because they've got momentum in the scrum. If they do get penalty advantage, they have a 7-on-5 advantage in the backs. Surely they'll find a way to get it done.
Bind. Set.
New faces, same story. Ireland crumble at the Springboks pack. A loopy old ball. Feinberg and Gomezulu is going to improvise.
Yeah, you wonder how long Matthew Carley's patience will there with the answer. Andrew Porter going to the bin. Like 3, I believe.
Ireland are down to 12.
Time off.
Yeah, you got to say, it's fair enough. He's penalised, Andy.
They should have another.
He's judged that Andrew Porter has been illegal in a number of scrums. When you look what that scrum is, there was probably only one thing coming. He did warn them before that scrum. But look, when you're in that front row, there's sometimes not a lot you can do, and this is going to be huge now.
McCarthy in his debut test window comes on into this bubbling cauldron.
Time on.
The biggest scrum of this young 22-year-old's life. In front of him, Steenenkamp, Low, Marks.
Crouch. Bind.
And it'll be interesting to watch. It's all Malcolm Marks in this. You want to know the stuff that he does. When you look at the pressure he's putting right through the middle of that scrum.
Ireland obliterated once more. Reinach there, and it was the only option left for Matthew Carley. It's a penalty try, and does it have to be another yellow card?
He's saying no. Thankfully for Ireland's sake, he's saying no. Let's get it off for half time.
Like if I was a game of FIFA record, it said have to blow it up.
Pandemonium at the Aviva Stadium and a pantomime reaction from the fans in Dublin for the most remarkable half of rugby. Ireland end the half with 12 men on the pitch, and they end trailing South Africa 19 points to 7. An incredible second half to come.
We're all in. Goal.compare, sponsors of the Quilt the Nation series on TNT Sports.
Tell you how excited I'm.
Turning the noise. Champions League nights are all about moments like that.
Different level.
Burger King's new Ultimate Cheddar range with 100% Irish beef, cheddar cheese, streaky bacon, and delicious cheddar cheese sauce for a limited time only at Burger King.
The search for the right mortgage isn't easy, but it's always better with PTSB. You'll have a team of your own to help you choose the right rate with dedicated options for energy-efficient homes and give you the tools and support you need to manage your mortgage. Whether it's your first or forever home, start your search with PTSB today. PTSB, altogether for you.
The Black Friday sale is now on at Harvey Norman. Get Black Friday discounts today across our 55-inch, 65-inch and 77-inch big screen TVs. Or go even bigger with the massive 86-inch LG Mega Screen TV. Now for just $899, saving you an incredible €500. Bring your favourite shows, movies and games to life with vivid colours, sharp detail and smooth motion. It's entertainment plus savings on a whole new scale. Hurry, limited stock, available now at the Harvey Norman Black Friday sale, now on.
Don't miss out on our best ever Black Friday deal. Get yourself an iPhone 17 Pro for €0 up front. That's €690 saved when you switch to Red Unlimited on Ireland's best mobile network 10 years in a row. Vodafone. Together we can.
You better think about what you're trying to do to me. RPA, Libre Fanny Couture, the new limited edition, Yves Saint Laurent.
You may not have known, Vodafone Business are experts in a lot more than connectivity. Gain cloud solutions and collaboration tools from Vodafone Business.
So fancy. And you are.
A lot of my patients who have sensitive teeth want a whiter smile. Sensodyne Clinical White has been clinically proven to give 2 shades whiter teeth and to help protect sensitive teeth. People with sensitive teeth don't have to compromise on having a whiter smile as well. I would absolutely recommend Sensodyne Clinical White to my patients. It's a winner all around.
Generous helpings of wonderful desserts. That's more to value. Treat your guests to extra special evenings that end on a sweet note with Livo. Spark pure amazement with this claim to flame. Our rich spiced deluxe Dundagan Irish Christmas pudding. And deliver smiles all round with deluxe all butter mince pies, 2 packs for €6. Lidl, more to value. And support Family Carers Ireland by picking up your Trolley Dash tickets today.
We're turning Black Friday red in the Virgin Media Playhouse. New customers get 1 gig super fast reliable broadband for just €45 a month for 12 months with no activation fee. Add TV for €17 a month and a 43-inch smart TV is yours, absolutely free. Start your play with Red Friday's 1 gig broadband and TV for €62 a month. Switch in store or at virginmedia.ie. Virgin Media, it's playtime.
Prestige, pressure, and brilliance.
Where the best man wins.
Where tradition runs deep. The race for the first crown in the series begins now. The UK Championship, live on TNT Sports.
It's not what makes you. It's what you are made of.
We're all in. Go.compare, sponsors of the Quilter Nation series on TNT Sports.
Hello and welcome back to the Aviva Stadium. Blockbuster action down south as well, because England find themselves 1-0 down the Ashes after another batting collapse. Saw them go from 65 for 1 down to 164 all out and pub. A ton here, an inspired century, absolutely outstanding by Head, who enabled Australia to chase down 205 inside just 2 days. A feat that happened in the Ashes since 1921. The action in Brisbane and the second test begins the 4th of December, 3:30 a.m. on TNT Sports and Discovery Plus. But back to the rugby here. It's been scintillating, as was that try from Damien Willems. So South Africa doing their best to shush and silence this crowd. And Cobus Reinach certainly not doing anything for his popularity contest here in Dublin right now. It's been quite an exhilarating first half of rugby here at the Aviva Stadium. We've had cards for James Ryan, Sam Prendergast, Jack Crowley, Andrew Porter, as well as a penalty try. Tommy Bowe, it's been brilliant. We've also had some tries, some very good ones as well.
We have indeed, Ugo. An insane first half. 3 yellow cards from Ireland, 1 red card. How they're still in this game is absolutely unbelievable. South Africa burst out of the scene, straight out of the change room. This is 3 minutes into the game. Ireland trying to come up off the line, trying to get that line speed. But as soon as Australia break that line, they just look so dangerous. Again, quick ball to the out and in the corner, absolutely sensational. And given the shush to the crowd as well here in Ireland, because the Irish crowd are trying to will on this Irish team, the 16th man. But South Africa just have this power. Again, a yellow card. James Ryan was upgraded into a red card. Cobus Reinach just eventually going through the phases, breaking through, and look so dangerous around the fringes. Ireland starting to tire, and this is really starting to tell. You can see Tyke Furlong trying his best, doing everything he can to try and lay a finger on the South Africans, but the size, the might, and South Africa are here to really cause upset.
It was one at that point in the game. I mean, it went absolutely crazy. Ireland went down to 13 men, but somehow they managed to manufacture a try through Dan Sheehan,
It
didn't
did,
they?
because they have been able to put pressure on this South African team with the limited possession they had. Again, they got themselves into the South African 22. They've made a few errors in the line out. Josh van der Fleer breaks wonderfully off the side there. Lovely. This is Bundy Aki. This is where the big men really come into it, get over the gain line. And a brilliant pass by Gibson Park over to Dan Sheehan, who's been brilliant in this opening half. But again, Ireland are just, they're able to score their tries, but they're really struggling to deal with this muscle from South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa got a penalty try off the back of that. The crowd here, the atmosphere is absolutely electric. As Tommy Bowe said, the crowd trying to will their team on, while South Africa, the double world champions, are doing their talking on the pitch. It's been an eventful first half. The current score is 19 points to 7. We'll have the second half coming up in this short break.
We're all in. Go.compare, sponsors of the Quilter Nation series on TNT Sports.
It's dropping from the skies. The big man has it again. Oh, he's lording it today. He's backing himself. He has the distance. What has he the accuracy? It's over the bar. She's got it. You've got it. Nobody here will ever forget today.
You were sent to grab something in the larder 20 minutes ago, but you decided to sneak in some Amazon Black Friday deals. Quick, Gary, the chutney! Up to 30% off this Amazon Black Friday week ends 1st of December on Amazon.ie.
With innovations in smart tech,
Nice choice.
the all-electric Inster is built for what's next. The future is today. The future is Hyundai.
Burger King's new Ultimate Cheddar range with 100% Irish beef, cheddar cheese, streaky bacon, and delicious cheddar cheese sauce for a limited time only at Burger King.
You may not have known, Vodafone Business are experts in a lot more than connectivity. Game-changing for your business. Sort of like you mightn't have known that surfing baking, and fishing are actually expert skills of these guys. Game-changing, like cybersecurity, cloud solutions, and collaboration tools from Vodafone Business. It's Friday.
How we use electricity can be smarter, cleaner, and greener, making your world brighter. Electric Ireland.
Generous helpings of wonderful desserts. That's more to value. Treat your guests to extra special evenings that end on a sweet note with Lidl. Spark pure amazement with this claim to flame, our rich spiced deluxe Dundalgan Irish Christmas pudding. And deliver smiles all around with deluxe all butter mince pies, 2 packs for €6. Lidl, more to value. And support Family Carers Ireland by picking up your Trolley Dash tickets today.
We're turning Black Friday red in the Virgin Media Playhouse. New customers get 1 gig super fast reliable broadband for just €45 a month for 12 months with no activation fee. Add TV for €17 a month and a 43-inch smart TV is yours, absolutely free. Start your play with Red Friday's 1 gig broadband and TV for €62 a month. Switch in store or at virginmedia.ie. Virgin Media, it's playtime.
The Internationals shed their autumn colours for club crests. The Gallagher Prem is back.
In history and intensity.
This is power, precision, chaos. This is balance. Every move has meaning. This is the Gallagher Prem.
The Gallagher Prem returns live on TNT Sports. The Gallagher Prem is back.
We're all in. Go.compare, sponsors of the Quilter Nation series on TNT Sports.
Thank you very much, all of them inside the Ireland dressing room. They find themselves 12 points down, and only 12 of those men are going to be taking the field in this second half due to the indiscretions on the pitch. It's a beautiful sign here, so let's get ready for the second half. All yours, Joe Burns.
We've had the fields of Athenry. We've had the Wild Rover. We've even had insomnia, but it is going to be Andy Farrell who may just have sleepless nights after the ill-disciplined deeds of his charges in white on this supercharged night in the Irish capital. The crowd is so partisan, Colosseum-like in its reaction, in its response to the yellow cards, the orange card meeting out in that first half. Ireland will restart the second half, trailing 19 points to 7 on the scoreboard, and with just 12 men on the pitch.
See ya. Right, you ready?
Did you hear the one about the dozen Irishmen in Dublin?
Simon.
Well, here comes the punchline.
Thank you, Ireland.
Nokia.
User.
Scales. Some thickly laden Irish atmosphere. And Hansen makes a tidy claim. It's partisan in the sense as well. Goodness, what a carry from young Paddy McCarthy. Steamrolls Steen and Camp. Ireland are just going to have to be incredibly direct. Obviously down a couple of numbers. They don't have the capacity to be able to play their usual game, so they're just going to have to be hugely physical, very direct, and make sure those one-on-one collisions are on the positive side of them. Right on the money. And with a fist, Hansen knocks it back. Gets a bit messy.
On the line, Ireland.
And we'll have a line out.
Yeah, I think those short sides for the next number of minutes till they get the number will be really important. They don't want to keep going around the corner. They don't want to start to run out of numbers and sort of hit it up, maybe one more, and then keep coming back.
Well, a telling stat there from the line out. 100% for South Africa, 67% for Ireland. Ordinarily, that'd be a standout. But it is the flurry of cards, and well, that's the way to curse it, isn't it?
Brendan should have had that stat up a little bit earlier in the game from an Irish point of view. Again, it goes to show when you put a bit of pressure on, you compete. The Sam Prendergast comes back on. The two then slightly down the South African side. Ireland not picking the scrum, which is their right, and probably very unsurprisingly, they're going to the line out.
Ireland, in we come.
Well, no microphone takes a battering quite like the one an inch from Rassie's mouth on the Quilter Nation Series, November. Sam Prendergast back on the field, and it's Kean skittling big South African men. These are the collateral damage. I think a few cheers for referee Matt Carley.
Halen, kick a go. Kick a go.
One of the decisions went Ireland's way. This crowd feels they've been very hard done by in that first half, but unsurprisingly, Ireland choosing to go for goal, killed another minute at least on that clock, get 1 minute closer to getting an additional player or both players back on the field, keep that scoreboard ticking over incredibly. They could get to within 9 points with so much territory and possession being with South Africa in that first half. They're still in touch remarkably. Yeah, Dirk, I think we knew before the start of this game it was going to be about the aerial battle and the set-piece battle. The aerial battle is maybe at best for Ireland been parity. South Africa are dominating there, but the set-piece has been all South Africa.
The yellow card kid makes amends from the tee, and Ireland are to within 9.
Very important now that Ireland just stay in. They get out of their own half. You do not want to play rugby when you're down one player. You don't want to play rugby in your own half. When you're down 2, you certainly don't want to be in your own half.
Oh, it's spilled forward, and it immediately puts South Africa in position, a coach killer, as they say. And I should add, as well, in all the mayhem, that Tommy O'Brien failed his HIA. So Jack Crowley will stay on when he gets back on. Kean Prendergast, he's been a lively presence from the bench all autumn for Ireland.
Yeah.
Enormous role to play in delivering some energy, but first some ballast to this scrum that is in flat-out reverse under the pressure of the box.
Again, really difficult one for Ireland to defend The Springboks with two players standing in behind the scrum. So they're hedging their bets defensively, Ireland, as to which side they're likely to go. When you're down those numbers, kind of shouting instructions at one another depending on what happens at scrum time. Obviously, Ireland have been on the back foot. So if you do get a right shoulder up,
let's go, quick reset.
The likelihood is they will go that right side.
Jameson.
But South Africa being so square in the scrum as well, they've literally disintegrated that Ireland scrum, so they could pick either side, Rory.
And I think that the big fear is, you see, Bosnia comes down to the flank on this side. They can't afford another penalty and potentially another yellow card. They've got training where you're so many numbers down, you have to try to guess and try to just stay connected.
Well, they're going to go right here because Gibson Park is defending the left-hand side.
Leave it! Penalty advance.
The Irish scrum pulverised once more. Feinberg and Gomezile. Oh, Sacha, the superstar, sides through the depleted defence of the Irish. The man who can't stop plundering points for the Boks does it again in Dublin. Oh, this was just such a difficult situation for Ireland to find themselves in. Penalty advantage. They're tracking backwards. And Gibson Park had to do a job on the inside since taking over from Andre Pollard. Obviously, plenty of control, but from an athletic point of view, there's very few that exceed his qualities. His running game is outstanding, and the number of tries that he's picked up of late have been testament to that.
I think that from Gibson Park's point of view, when you get checked a little bit, you feel you have to chase a little bit harder, you get a bit high, and then that big fend into the chest. And when you're lying on the ground watching somebody go over the try line, there's not a worse feeling. Again, like you said, Draco, when you're that many numbers down, you just have to try to...
Let it out! Ireland, enough! You're off your feet, 19, stop!
Ireland.
Use it!
With a 14-point deficit to contend with. Still, just 13 on the field.
8 who?
And crossing another penalty against the Irish. They are ratcheting up here. And just what you want when you're down to 13 and trailing by 14. The Viking Berserker. It's only his 50th cap as well. He won't want to impress on a landmark test match like that. That's the reward you get for, physically stepping up for 50 minutes. Bomb squad gets released onto the field, and the likes of Archie Snyman comes and does his thing. It's outline now. That's so slick and Creel accelerates on. The strength of Archie enough to keep the outside centre at bay. Feinberg and Gomezile, there's a pep in his step after that try. Peter step to tie to Malcolm Mars, dragging Hansen along with him like a caravan.
Good contest, first player on the spin.
Paddy McCarthy somehow emerges. And it's Ireland's first turnover of the match.
No, not now. No.
Just when they needed maybe Brilliant clearance under wild pressure to not only get the ball out of a retreating scrum, but to hook his leg around the corner under pressure. Gain a whole of 50 odd meters.
I was the other side. I'll come to it. Yeah, guys. 8.
There's a few more changes heading the way of South Africa. Jasper Lisa, his usual confrontational self, departs, and Huaga Smith. I mean, there's a few more impactful replacements in World Rugby than the Olympic bronze medalist, but all of a sudden, it is the South African line out that is under pressure.
One more line.
That's what Ireland are going to have to do. They're just going to have to keep putting good moment on good moment, work their way down. They're only 14 points down. They've now got a plot. How do they get within 7?
Inside Ireland's half.
I think where they have to get into that South African half. Gain nothing for the line. Now, look at it. It's smart play. Prendergast loses his footing almost perilously so. Van der Fleer tastes the left shoulder of Dialende. Up she goes. Willemse doesn't make it his. Hansen almost breaking free. And all of a sudden the Aviva believes. Many moments.
Yeah, 2 off the ball.
Can make massive outcomes, or just the deftest of hands from Furlong to Werner. A theatrical tumble to the ground from Gibson Park wins the penalty. He milked it, but he was absolutely right. The South African, at least 2 players were rolling over Ireland's side. He felt he needed to make a point of the players not being where they shouldn't have been. Matthew Carley had no choice other than to give a penalty. It was quite theatrical, but needs must right now. Four cards Ireland have seen in this match.
My favourite.
3 of them yellow, 1 of them a 20-minute red. Yet still, Sam Prendergast eyes up the polls to reduce this South African lead to 11. He nails it.
Now they've got to do what they probably haven't been brilliant at, Rico. They've got to get the ball, they've got to exit, they've got to at least get this halfway line. The next sort of 5-10 minutes for them is about owning that halfway line, getting into that South African half.
Ronan Callagher.
Thank you, that's fine.
A line in all 3 tests as a replacement, plays the same role. Coming on for try scorer Dan Sheehan. Steepling restart right down the gunnels. Comes off an Irish hand forward. There was definitely a South African jersey involved there too. And Willemse just bouncing around, shoveling to Creel. He shows just raw power from a tight hull. Sneeman forklifted by Callagher. And then Reinach almost spots a glint of light. Smith. Peter Stefter Toy. Smith just barreling through. An Irish voice boxes roll. And then it's the turn of the Aviva.
Brilliant from Cian Prendergast. Once again, you talked about the impact he's made over this Quilter Nation series. That is a huge, huge turnover. Referee couldn't quite see it. It happened so fast. But he got himself latched on really early on as the player went down. He was first man arriving. And not only did he lock himself in there, he stayed in the fight, and it took the referee a bit longer than he would have liked to award the penalty. The referee a bit longer than he would have liked to award the penalty. Nonetheless, it came his way and relief for Ireland.
Two big moments from the bench on their own line. Two big moments from the bench on their own line. Kane Prendergast there. We talked already about Paddy McCarthy's one. These are sort of moments now we've got to keep winning. Pressure on the Irish line out. Ronan Kelleher's come on. This is first throw.
Not part of the attack.
Very much come on to try to solidify that first throw.
Not part of the attack.
Very much come on to try to solidify that scrum. He's known as being a very, very strong scrummager in there, but he's got to nail his line out.
Oh man, Kane Prendergast, Kelleher. It does find the Irish arms, but then it does find the Irish arms, but then it's Pilford. Smith bringing his trademark dynamism from the bench. Dialende has Van der Fleer swinging from his hips. Yorkia ignored. Smith, Feinberg, Ngomazulu, Peter Stefter keeps the ball in somehow. Sasha selling dummies, and Matthew Carley almost wiped out in the process. Low pumps those gargantuan pistons and takes the box to within 6.
Advantage of feet.
Another penalty surrendered. The long tentacles of Sneyman.
Support your weight.
Don't quite find the support. Don't quite find the support.
As we saw in the first half, it was Tyke Byrne didn't listen to the referee's instructions on that occasion. I think it was Kelleher who latched on. I think it was part of the tackle. He didn't release clearly because he got himself in a good position. He didn't release clearly because he got himself in a good position.
And we say so long to one of the rising stars of rugby and one of the true icons. Rising stars of rugby and one of the true icons of global sport. Sasha Feinberg and Ngomazulu is followed by Siet Khaleesi. 50 test triumphs as captain. Will tonight be a 51st? Test triumphs as captain. Will tonight be a 51st? Marnie Livot is on. And in place of Khaleesi, the latest creation from the Willy Wonka of world rugby, Andre Esterhazen. Creation from the Willy Wonka of world rugby, Andre Esterhazen. Slots himself in to the back row.
Certainly big enough to play there.
Pro.
He's certainly big enough to play there.
Pro.
He's certainly big enough to play there anyway.
The once upon a time centres metamorphosis into flanker pretty much complete this autumn. 2 tries so far. Japan and France the victims. So far, Japan and France the victims.
Amazing what job Esterhazen has done as this hybrid player. The capacity to play in his more natural position of 12, but seems just at his more natural position of 12, but seems just at his more natural position of 12, but seems just at has more natural position of 12, but seems just at has more natural position of 12, but seems just at has more natural position of 12, but seems just at as much at home playing on the flank. Scored a number of tries in that sixth position. Just his ball carrying coming around the corner, but then the subtlety of his ball handling as well complements the way that the Springboks are trying to play the game. Front, force up front, uncompromising, and then beautiful subtlety of handling in the backs also.
Tight it out. Tight it.
He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. He doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. Doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. Doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. Doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. Doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. Doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. Doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. Doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line out doesn't work on for him. Ryan Ash. Doesn't have the legs to hit quick, so maybe the line.
Keep the field.
Yeah, I think unsurprisingly we did say it probably should have been one penalty before, for being honest about it, but once that penalty advantage came, you knew it was only going to be one course of action. Paddy McCarthy's off again. They're going to go for the scrum, and from a South African point of view, why wouldn't you? You have a massive strength in there. Ireland looked like they'd stemmed the tide on that one. They'd got their height really, really low. But again, we talked about Malcolm Marks. We talked about that ability when Ireland are pinning it and keeping it low just to lift the whole scrum. And we're talking about half an inch. And then the weight came through.
The terrible thing is that there's nothing they can do about it. Like, there's an air of inevitability about it from very early on. As Josh van der Fleer is obviously being replaced by Andrew Porter coming on to get into that front row, but what do you say? What's the micro conversation like in that front row now?
I've been on both sides of it. When you're in that South African team at the minute, you just cannot wait for the next scrum. You know you're going to get dominance. You know you're going to destroy them. You actually cannot wait to get into it. And from an Irish point of view, every time there's a mistake, a knock-on or a penalty, you're just dreading, and all you're trying to do. And what you'll find is now that Ireland will try to problem solve a little bit on their own because everyone's now panicking. And that is, it's a natural instinct, but it's the last thing they need to do. They really need to work on that cohesion, get those 8 players in that scrum and just work really, really hard. And hope the referee gives him something.
Well, Banyaki has become a scrummaging expert all of a sudden. He spent that long bolted onto the flank tonight. But he's turning to the assistant, imploring for a penalty for the South African replacement prop. I think Steenenkamp going down there. He's adamant, isn't he?
We talked about Esther Hazen, but if anyone else is mad enough in World Rugby that plays centre to want to go into that back row, it's certainly Bundy.
Yeah, outside, Andrew. Thank you. Crouch! 5, 6. Use it, take it out. Stay down. Get down. Thank you.
South Africa, numbers roaring round the corner, but Hansen reads Libbok's intentions. Still, they fold round to the left. Snyman deployed, scooped into the arms of Dialende. Caelan Doris. Penalty, can't lose another.
Offside 12. Offside.
Byrne was furious with the referee that he wasn't given a jackal on that initial carry from South Africa on the scrum. They didn't quite get it right. It was R.G. Snyman, and it was the play before that one.
Hand injury, and we don't need him. Right. Get to a corner.
And then there's the penalty coming in at the side.
And come in and win your second international cap. Ireland's oldest debutant for a decade against Japan, and no time to hang around. South Africa are looking to finish this match, to end the contest that Ireland have refused to allow them to do. Malcolm Marks enwrapped in Irish arms again. Doris in the thick of things. And maybe cleared out beyond the ruck. Nokia gets short shrift. Nessie Ball, Wagga Smith loses control. And just listen to this stadium when they realise what's happened. Each mini win, each siege lifted is galvanising this Aviva crowd. And warriors like Malcolm Marks wear the wounds of a game of pure grit and dedication to the emblem.
Ireland may well not win this game, but there's going to be a way to lose it as well. And you can see it in the reactions of these players as well, around how much heart they're showing on their defensive line, how they're unwilling to be crossed. And I think you find out an awful lot about yourself in adversity like this, when the going's been against you. Whether you're there for the fight or whether you roll over. And so far, this Irish team has dug in time and time again. Penalty after penalty, but body on the line stuff. Really, really impressive, considering how much.
Johan Robela gets his first line out, claimed cleanly by his teammates. And for the first time, Ireland don't have the paint of their try-line on the backs of their heels in such a long time. But still, it's all out defensive mode. They're still looking to solve this relentless attack that has gifted them a bit of cherished possession.
Not now, not now. No.
Tom Farrell into the fray and making his mark. Phelan with more space than he's ever known in international rugby.
Wasn't sure what to do, Joe.
Prendergast swore a split in two.
No. Use it. Hang on. Nothing silly.
The aerial assault is renewed. Farrell under it. Ball squirts free, and Irlandia is made of granite. Just rides the challenge from Ringrose. Nokia getting through a mountain of work. This cursed number 5 jersey for so much of the autumn. It's the first time anyone wearing that number jersey's been on at this stage in the match in the last 3 weeks. Oh, a kind bounce, a vacant backfield, a Crowley, cool as a cucumber.
Yeah, very well covered. They keep sort of fighting back in the storm, but they don't go into their shells either. There was an opportunity there a couple of minutes ago to go out the back and test South Africa on the edges. They can't, just because they're starting to tire, because of that unbelievable defensive effort they've had. They've still, when those chances are there, because there's not going to be many of them, they need to score twice. They're going to have to go after South Africa as well when they have the ball.
More danger around the nitty-gritty.
All on.
At the moment, there is a bit of a sense of Ireland bailing out the life raft, and they just can't break free into the South African half. They can't row their way across that threshold. His first time facing the Irish. Prendergast. Oh, really? Makes some trouble. It's a mighty clear out, but it could be a messy one. As Peter Steptoe clutches his face in the aftermath. In the pocket is Libok. Another one. Dropped on the Irish backfield. Remember, they're reorganising, missing some of their talisman. Hansen, O'Brien departed the field. It's a makeshift backline. Square pegs in round holes.
Away, no, 17, out. Thank you. Lock on advantage over.
Prendergast reaches for a little more distance and Libok claims it like he's just kicking a ball around in the backyard. No pressure. Now it's Willemse. Porter. With Williams hanging with a handful of jersey. Beautifully drifted ball. And low wraps round the shoulder. Outrageously charged down by Colby. Then he spots some space. Crowley empties the lungs. Oh, that is outrageous. He slaloms through the remnants of the Springbok chasers. And is that another mini moment to feed the ambitions of a comeback that just seems insurmountable? We're into the final 10 minutes. Will not surrender. Moody to finish it for South Africa, but Crowley with a last gasp stretch of the digits.
Knocked on by South Africa.
Has denied the Springbok winger.
A couple of outstanding moments from Jack Crowley, not giving up the fight, contesting till the death. That is class from the Munster man. Initially under huge pressure in the backfield, chasing a kick back. And that one, fighting till the end. You gotta love it.
Ireland watches a speculator. Colby is sniffing. And Lowe is hammered back towards his line. All credit to these Springboks. They are snuffing out any attacking ambition that is being explored by this courageous team in white.
Use it. Onside.
Bit of additional scaffolding offered on the ruck. And once again, Gibson Park clears. But once again, Ireland will brace themselves for a South African onslaught. Craig Casey's on for Jamison, Gibson Park, and Andrew Porter gets to put his feet up for a third time tonight as Paddy McCarthy is reinstated. He owed him one for the first half, yellow. As you said, Brian, whatever happens, we've been treated to the most extraordinary evening from both these sides.
There's actually quite an amazing energy in the stadium at the moment, literally willing on every action, every win, every moment that Ireland are getting the better of South Africa. I don't think there's much expectation now to go and win the game. Obviously, 8 minutes to go, couple of scores behind, but it's the unwillingness to fold, the unwillingness to give in at any point is what's been the hallmark and the DNA of this Andy Farrell team for a number of years, and it's so good to see it once again with this transition of players coming through, that it's inbuilt into the new generation as well.
Right, well, this is going to be an interesting one because there have been some immense performances, both sides of the ball. Let's have a look at our Quilter player of the match contenders.
Going off.
Yeah, the Quilter player of the match contenders, Malcolm Marks, had a big impact in the set piece. Yes, Fabricio, some of that carries footwork. Kopus Reinach has been moving the pack around well, kicking very well, and obviously Sasha Feinberg from Gonazula has been very, very good, albeit behind a pack that is going forward at a rate of knots. Not surprisingly, all of the Quilter player of the match.
Marks with the mummified forehead.
Blood reversal.
Barely a moment to let the tape stick. And Thomas DeToy bound onto the field for another shift. Wilco Lowe, the latest piece of debris to be removed from the field, and Jan Grobbelaar as well.
Neck injury to a prop.
I'm wondering, Malcolm Marks, are we seeing the next World Player of the Year? He's been so close on a number of occasions. He's been outstanding this year. Shortlisted once again. Snyman has the ball seized from his grip, and Van der Fleer gleans a few more precious meters for this plucky Irish side, who, along with everyone in the stadium, just somehow still believe a wonderful read from Esther Hazen, and Ireland landed themselves in some self-made choppy waters. Prendergast just rips it off the right hand to his brother. South Africans pour themselves into the breakdown and then commit their bodies to the ensuing hit.
Use it! Not now, not now.
Right in Ireland, overplaying their hand deep in territory. Those loop passes are playing their way into South African hands. It's exactly what they want, their ability to react with their blitz defence. Lost forward initially and then claimed from an offside position by Huaga Smith.
Yeah, behind the mark.
Yeah, just on Draco's point, is absolutely right. This is about being smart, as well as showing an intent to play. Saw the kick go up, knock on by South Africa. Not sure who was South African player then in front of the ball, picks it up, gives Ireland a penalty, and it allows them to get right down the field. That's a 70-80 metre gain.
Ireland, for what it's worth, have equalled the record for the most cards by a single side in an international test this evening. Yet still, Andy Farrell's men are within 11 points of the world champions and within 30 metres of their line. They couldn't possibly, could they? Archie and Van der Fleer combine again. Gallagher, a slip in midfield, almost opened things up, but a brilliant read and hit from Steenenkamp snuffs out the threat. Ireland's only attack in recent memory, the Prendergast combine.
Not now.
Byrne, Gallagher, Doris thumped to the deck. And then the counter. Then the unrelenting desire. Then the South Africanness. The Rassie has spoken of week after week. Oh, this shot on Prendergast. I thought it was actually bigger than it was. He's kind of just picked up, but that's what you get with Prendergast. He takes the ball to the line aggressively. The two Prendergasts being brave right on the line, trying to suck in defenders.
You take it to him, trust me.
Got to put yourself at a little bit of risk to create space for others around you.
Knock on the floor by their player, but players screaming and players' faces on the floor and celebrating something like that is not tolerated on the field, so it would be a penalty. Don't do that again.
This is what Ireland need, you know, a little bit of a break again. They got the talking back to the referee, screaming and shouting on the knock on, and all of a sudden they have a chance to go to the corner.
They're not going for a scrum. No.
That wasn't good enough. That wasn't good enough. Control what you can control.
Has the Aviva known noise like this in recent memory?
Clearly out, please, Andre. Thank you. Don't come in.
To a man. All 50,000 plus on their feet. Van der Fleer. Shut down by Libot. Prendergast. The double pump. Farrell gets himself in a tangle. But Ireland crucially retain the ball. Beelan in space again.
They got to come
advantage for Ireland. Flipped out the back. It won't mean anything for Moody. with 3 minutes on the clock, it's now or never, and it's the half centurion. The decibels in Dublin are crescendoing to the levels like never before. R.G. Snyman sent from the field. Ireland with a numerical advantage for the first time all night.
No, it's fine. So we had an early contact at the line out. That was a one incident on its own. We then had an offside on the line, but the TMOs told me there was a player in touch before that. Because it was for multiple infringement, he will come back, but it's still your penalty. I'm 15. Okay, Keane, can you send him back? Yes. 15. The penalty over here.
So
15, because it was early contact at the line out. You can just take a line.
So the foot on the line supersedes the yellow card, but there's still a penalty for repeated infringement.
Contact at the line.
So R.G. Snyman gets a reprieve. I don't know how it was allowed to play on for as long as it did.
Make sure you clearly tap it.
Gallagher targets the man. Just given a second chance. Van der Fleer takes 3 Springboks to stop him. Doris. Oh, a tectonic hit. Dublin shaken to the core. Farrell. Gallagher. He's been so purposeful, so impactful since coming from the bench. So too Paddy McCarthy. The long arms of the world champions wrapped around him. Probably nowhere to go. Cian Prendergast. It's Grant Williams was lying on the ball, not rolling away. That allowed Marks get into a good position.
What did he need the field?
It's the cumulative penalties that have worked so badly against Ireland now on South Africa. Ireland have 87 seconds to score to give them the chance to go back for one more. Oh, the strength! A slither away. Time ebbing away.
Short.
Conan. Denied.
On the line.
Casey. Prendergast. Goes long. Goes to Gibson Park. Who spills. And Colby, with a bit of gamesmanship, takes some time out of the clock and tensions bubble.
No.
It'll all help the clock as far as South Africa are concerned.
What's happening? When you're ready.
45 seconds from the unimaginable to be on the cards. Doris! Driven as the Springboks cry that he's lost it.
Only player on his feet.
And Flagger Smith emerges with the ball. And with Ireland's hopes, but another turnover. Doris, Prendergast, an intentional knockdown. Gibson Park. Colby is it'll be a yellow and a penalty. And the clock will evaporate.
Knock on, there is time for the scrum.
He was happy enough with it being an unintentional knockdown. I'd love to have another look at that because there's 51,000 people not so sure.
Knock on only. The TMO tells it's wrong. Knock on only. TMO is confirmed. Yeah.
In fairness to him, he gets 2 hands to it. He gets 2 hands to it. I'm not one for
Good finish. Please.
missing those intercepts, but I think there's enough of an effort to try and catch that. Ireland now simply playing for pride. But my, what pride they've shown.
Crouch!
14 men of South Africa to target.
Please, when I'm trying to set a scrum, it's really unsafe if you're talking to me. Don't do that. No, don't, please. It's really difficult. Here we go.
Well, he was captain in the summer, and Craig Casey is sort of taken on that role as he badgers Matthew Carley a little too much.
Tailing the phone of your kids, don't say anything, and then they say something anyway, just for the sake of it.
Let them bind.
He's so full of energy, Craig Casey.
Crouch!
The game's already won, but Rassie Erasmus will not relent. Casey travels down an alleyway, but there's a lot of big men in green. Van der Fleer. There's not going to be enough bath salts in Dublin to ease the pains of the Irish Open side after his performance. Our key, the back row. Conan, pass under pressure, doesn't go forward.
Knock on advantage.
And finally, Cheslin Colby will draw to a close. The most helter-skelter match you'll ever see in the Test Arena. The Springboks have won. Ireland have lost. But you will never hear a more impassioned response from a stadium for a home defeat. Reduced to 12 at one stage. They saw 5 cards, Ireland. Yet they stayed in the fight to the very end. But the might of the double world champions proved too much. 13. Right, chaps, if you've caught your breath, it's time to explore your quilter player of the match.
Yeah, for me, the Quilter player of the match, and it's not a biased view at all, but it has to be a hooker. It has to be Malcolm Marks.